Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy True Thought. Just leaving the gym, which is why it's so dark. I'm in my car right now, getting ready to head home. But before I head home, I wanted to make a quick video real quick dealing with the subject that's pretty popular amongst soldiers right now, and that's the Army Pinks and Greens. So November the 11th, the Army, through Sergeant Major Daly, released a statement approving the well-anticipated Army Pinks and Greens. For those that don't know, the Army Pinks and Greens, and actually they're going to be called the Army Greens from here on out, actually. But the Army Greens, the new Army Greens, really is a throwback to the World War II uniform, dress uniform that soldiers wore at that time. Essentially, the uniform that's going to be made available in 2020 is essentially everything that the World War II version was, minus the tie. I think the tie is different. So the World War II version featured a tan tie to go with the tan shirt. That tie now is more of a green or a brownish green to match the jacket, as well as the shoes and the different hats that come along with it. But everything else is pretty much verbatim repeat of the World War II uniforms. I think that the overall feeling about the uniforms is that most soldiers like it. Most soldiers like the look of it. It features a belted jacket that is different than what the Army has worn really since the World War II uniforms. Gives it a nicer look, a leaner look, a cleaner look. Probably the only negative comment I've heard about it is that it resembles the Marines dress uniform. But you got to remember, again, back in World War II, that was our uniform as well. So it's not as though the Army is stealing anything from the Marines. It's more just going back and reclaiming our history, essentially. My opinion is that I love the look of it, especially, like I said, with the belted version. Here's the thing I think that has some soldiers concerned about it. Number one is the cost. Initially, the Army announced that it would be a cost-neutral uniform, and that it would be paid for by the clothing allowance that active duty soldiers get. However, it's also supposed to be an everyday wear for those who are not in the motor pools or anything of that nature, but for many other soldiers. And so with that being said, you're probably going to have to purchase, 3 or 4 long sleeve shirts as well as the short sleeve shirts. Now with these shirts, for your NCOs, senior enlisted, you now have to have your rank on the sleeves of your shirt. So that's an added price, along with the multiple shirts that you have to purchase. And just the upkeep of that uniform. I can understand that for many active duty soldiers, how that can be a concern. I know for the National Guard, I'm not sure how that's going to work for us as far as the purchasing, because we don't get clothing allowance, especially those of us who are not on active duty orders. If you're on active duty orders, then you can get the clothing allowance. But for those of us like myself who are not on active duty orders, when that time comes that it's mandatory for us to have, I don't know if we're going to have to purchase them ourselves, which is going to be pretty expensive, or if our units will purchase them for us. I kind of doubt that, because if you figure in the unit you may have up to 150, 200 soldiers, that's a lot of money for one uniform. You have to purchase the ASU, the complete ASU set. You have to purchase the PCs to go along with it. You have to purchase the trench coat that goes along with it. So that can be, that's probably going to run total. It can probably run you $600, $700. No, probably about $600 just for one soldier. So I'm not sure that units are committed to doing that for all of the soldiers. But overall, I think it's a good look. It's just going to be interesting to see how the Army implements it across active Army, reserves, and National Guard. If you have any thoughts about the Pinks and Greens, drop a comment for me, to me, and so we can have some conversations about it. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully everyone is having a great time as we move closer and closer to Christmas. You all be blessed, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.